Yo, this is CF, aka Constant Flow, Child Forsaken. And we right here live at the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. Tune in.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, world. Welcome, world.
Right.
If you at home right now, do 10 push-ups.
This guy. Can you do 10 push-ups?
I do 3. A strong 3.
10 bars.
This is Super Brooklyn. Shout out MOP. Shout out Jay-Z.
Yeah.
This is episode 82 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. To the left of me, I got the brother BS.
BS to the OP, you know what it be, MDMA all day.
On the check-in, I got International Blood.
Yeah, baby, reporting live from an undisclosed location where we at. Let's go.
And today in the studio, we have special guest, one half of the Billion Man Rebellion, a.k.a. Be Still My Readers, a.k.a. Blast Militant Revolution, a.k.a. Born Mindful Revolutionaries, the brother Constant Flow, a.k.a. CF201 in the building. Thank you for being here today, my brother.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Everybody
Okay,
make sure you
okay.
go follow the brother at CF201 on Instagram. Make sure you follow his partner at Dontique3. That's DONTIQUE3. Make sure you follow them on YouTube. That's Billion Man Rebellion. Go download the new album, Ghost Lineage. Go download the first album, The Static Files. And show the brother some love. There's a good brother.
Facts.
Before we get into the interview, I want to talk some current events. Well, before we get into current events, let me shout out, as always, Straight Fuego Studios, the brother F. Make sure you're following the brother at Efrenar711. Make sure you're following at GAHHD_podcast. Make sure you're following the real_BSOP on Twitter. Make sure you're following deadass_ worldwide. And make sure you're following at callme_Joseph_.
Excellent.
That's right.
Now, how y'all brothers doing? How y'all feeling? Blood, let me start with you. How's your leg?
Man, it's getting there, man. It's getting better. I didn't realize my cells could regenerate so fast, man. I must be like half Wolverine and shit.
You ain't Wolverine, fam. You just...
Yo, dog, I'm good, B. I'm about to fucking cross you over.
I was just going to say, you ready to hit the court?
Facts.
All right, I'll meet you there.
This guy'll do one run up and down the court, throw up, and leave.
And not stop. In one motion.
Nigga take it back to the days of the LD and shit. Throw up, be back to normal and shit real quick.
Yesterday. Nah.
Basically. Dusty ass.
The
This
brother
nigga.
Constant Flow, how you feeling, man?
What up, man? I'm feeling real good to be here.
Absolutely.
Out here
Thank you,
repping
bro.
BMR was good.
Yes, BMR.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into BMR, a new versus has been announced.
Yeah, this is goodie.
Have y'all heard
word.
this? Blood, you haven't heard
Nah. I don't know. What were you about to say? Let's go.
it? Big Daddy Kane versus KRS-One, October 17th.
Knowledge reigns supreme
Oh,
over nearly everything.
Shit.
I seen KRS perform live in Utah, Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how Big Daddy Kane is. I know everybody know Big Daddy Kane, obviously, but KRS-One in terms of showmanship,
Right.
he's a different.
And aggressiveness,
He's a
too.
beast.
I remember,
He's an animal.
I remember back in the day, KRS-One said he has a battle rap for the top 10 rappers
Yeah.
every year.
Every year, yeah.
So,
exactly.
you know how Versus is like a celebration and stuff, and it's quasi-friendly?
Right.
I don't think he's going to be too friendly, yo. KRS-One,
Nah,
I feel
man.
like he takes that competitiveness, you feel me?
But you got to also remember, these two gentlemen are also from that era where it was ultra competitive.
That's what I mean. So I
know
don't.
what I'm
I
saying?
think this might be a really good versus because they're not going to be so friendly,
Right.
and they're
Well, I was
actually
gonna say
going to
that-
try to, win.
Long
Yeah.
as King
Yeah,
practice, that's all it really comes down. It really comes down to practicing.
Kane,
I don't think Kane ever lost it. I don't think Kane ever lost it because if you see him like perform, he does some shit that I've never seen before.
Right,
Where
right.
he'll act like something's going on and then just flip it. Like for example, I don't know if you've ever seen him perform and he'll drop the mic and he'll be like, "Oh shit," and then he'll pick it up and like end the bar like. like he meant to do it and shit, and everybody be like, oh shit. Yeah. So like it's part of the show, you know.
Some antics that might work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they're both great showmen, you know, and they've both been doing it for many, many years.
I was gonna say, as good as Kane is a performer, because I've seen him perform, and he's dope. He's real dope. He's not just the rapper that stands up there and just raps. Like he's all over the stage. He dances. He does all that shit.
I love the dancing.
You know what I'm saying? And he's dope at it. He's dope. And everybody knows he's legendary on the mic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes got their style from him and this and that. But I don't see anybody that's matching KRS energy on the stage.
That's another thing is about energy.
I don't
Do
see.
y'all even think this is a good matchup?
It is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Our guest first. But go ahead. I think it is.
Look, to me, I automatically see things lopsided. But then again, look, one could be, you know what I mean? When Ja Rule and Fat Joe had this situation, and then like, look,
it couldn't come out dope.
I knew the Locks thing with the Dipset was going to be basically one-sided because of the fact that there's showmanship is a lot of aggression. That takes it back to the roots of like New York City hip-hop, where there would be crews battling each other like on the bull court, and it was based on like y'all each being in tune with each other as a group, and with your backup hype man, because your hype man gotta know, regardless, all these people getting on stage at verses, they got hype men to help them up, and then your breath control and a lot of stuff like that. With Fat Joe, I could see him, you know what I'm saying, kind of wheezing. A lot of people ain't really working out. They don't put in that energy into their show routine. They think that that's an afterthought. When in reality, it's about moving the crowd. That's what MCing is about.
Right. A lot of performers don't consider the health aspect of performing.
Right.
The stamina that it takes, the energy that you're gonna put out to, you know, to put on a good show and
even
shit.
to go on tour. Like I heard something. What was it? Who just passed away?
Biz?
My man that I can't really. It's not coming to my the Woe song.
Oh, Black Rob.
Black Rob.
So Black Rob said himself that when he was touring extensively, a lot of times that took a toll on his life. Took a toll on his health.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which could have, I think, from what I heard or from what someone else told me, like that led to like him having strokes and shit like that.
I could believe it. You gotta imagine touring. You're eating shit.
Yeah.
You're not sleeping properly, you know. You're not getting enough sleep.
So
doing drugs.
Doing a lot of
all
drugs
of that, and then, you know what I'm saying? So like
not enough water.
All of that. No. So if you already had a routine prior to that, then it's not difficult when you go to when you go to the hotel, you check in. First thing you be like, "Where's the physical center? Where's this, that, and the third?" So I could work out real quick. Me and Chino Chino and myself used to do that because Chino Excel, I toured extensively with him through Immortal Technique, and he's a fitness head. I'm a fitness head.
Yes.
So we would go to the gym, and I would practice my routine. Like I'll be in there. Even me and Hassan Salam, like when he was living out here in Gothenburg, him and I would go to the park right there. I think it's the James Braddock Park right across the street.
Yeah.
And we go running and we would put in our time to make sure that the routine, even though we were doing separate routines, that it was up. Even when I was on 10 Westwood, like you could tell my breath control was impeccable because I worked out. I was really prepped for whatever situation would happen at any time. So like a lot of these artists, they don't really, that's an afterthought for some. I'm glad now that Versus is bringing that back so that we can look at an MC for what their real worth is at, what they really valued as. Where is your showmanship? Where it really comes down to. Because a lot of these people, they got bars, but they can't give the audience an experience. That connection. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing better than connecting with someone. And this is one thing that the pandemic stopped us from having, is the direct human contact where somebody see you and they be like, oh shit, I can never forget what you did at that stage during that time in this particular concert. I even got the ticket right here. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a life transformative experience that occurs when you on stage. Like you taking on the church, literally. And the audience is helping you take on the church.
Better yet, you should be, because not every artist achieves that. You know what I mean? Because like we said, a lot of artists lack that connection to the audience. But when you do have that connection to the audience and you're putting on a good show, it can be super spiritual and enlightening even, and you
Is
leave
there-
the show feeling awesome.
Is there any
Exactly.
artists that you may have seen live that you probably weren't into at first or weren't there to see, but you saw them live and they took you there and you were like, damn, I'm gonna follow this dude from now on, or this artist from now on.
It's interesting. I see that within my own friends, like just friends. And I'll be
Right.
like, yeah, I didn't think that you got it in you like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And I'll be like, oh
Let's go.
shit, all right, now we in the zone. All right, now I see that you have that idea of what it is, that other aspect of hip hop, that you really kind of like part of that, the originator vibe and shit. But in terms of like artists, I always thought it would be a letdown if I saw Guru rock, cause I love his shit so much. But probably he not animated on stage,
Right.
because he doesn't necessarily have to be.
Right.
So sometimes there could be exceptions.
Right.
Exactly.
I heard Rakim's showmanship wasn't up to the guards. I don't know. I never saw him rock.
Right.
I heard Nas would be a letdown and shit like that. I remember I was in Switzerland, in Frankfurt. It was a big. I think that's the last time I saw Prodigy.
Rest in
Before
peace.
he passed and shit like that. 'Cause
Right.
it was mad
R.I.P.
different. And this is when I was rocking. I was with Immortal Technique on his label, and I was going on tour extensively and shit like that. I think Nas was on stage. I don't know what, but I think, and I thought his showmanship was, from what I remember, I think it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like probably he evolved.
I think
'Cause-
some artists like a Guru, like a Rakim, like a Nas, they may not be high up on
Monotone
the,
style, you know what
on
I
the
mean?
animation, but they're
Yeah.
super high on the crowd control.
Or
You know what I'm
that
saying?
might you mad right? Or
So it'd be like different, you know, it's factors, and one might not have 100% on all the factors. It's like 2K.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If you're into video games,
yeah.
You know what?
you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses.
I remember one time we did a benefit show for Puerto Rico because of the hurricane situation, right? And it was at, I think it was Bowery Electric or Bowery Poetry Club, whatever. Tech put it together, and Benny the Butcher was there.
Okay.
And we had a relationship with Benny, with Griselda, through my boy named Chris, who worked for Live Nation. This is before Benny the Butcher actually was really, really, really popping.
Right.
So he opened up for us. He opened up for BMR.
Everybody gotta
or he
pay
opened
their
up for
dues.
me, when I was, aside from BMR, CF. And he was like shaky on stage, but like you could tell that there was gonna be something. I did
Right.
not know that. I couldn't see the trajectory where he was going and
But you
project
saw
that
the
he's
the
here
star
now.
quality.
But
You saw something.
I saw, like, you know what I mean, like his humility, because he was out there. He even spoke about the people of Puerto Rico who he ain't had to.
Right.
Benny the Butcher, what would he be his connection? And just seeing that in itself would be like, this is like something more, a little bit different from this dude. You willing to see the other side of the coin and shit like that.
And
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
human connection.
That's
You know
what
I
I think. And then that's why I was like, I looked past the fact that his showmanship was still kind of not where it should have, not where, for me being on tour extensively, learning and practicing and shit like that, but that he was something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But not even based on just based on him as a human being.
Right, not even based on the music.
Nah, just
based on the aura of the person,
personality
Yeah.
and just his authenticity and being genuine.
Yeah.
Just backstage,
That's
you could
real.
kick it with him and be like, yo, that's what's up. And I could see like, all right, you so much of a real person as an individual that it may translate well with the audience, and then that's where you're gonna establish your connection. And that he did. So
Yeah. And
That's
shout
kinda
out to them.
bugged out.
They're doing dope things.
word.
To go back very quickly to the health, because you said you do work out and stuff. Do you think that working out helps you mentally focus on raps, or does it help you if you're like trying to write bars or something?
See, that's an interesting way to look at it. I normally started working out. I grew up in an alcoholic household, you know what I'm saying? PTSD and all that shit. So
Absolutely.
that was my means again. I didn't smoke weed, or not that I did not smoke. I did smoke here occasionally, but it wasn't my main coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw my grandfather, and I saw like that a liquid could overtake him and change him from one thing to the next.
Oh yeah.
I decided, like, you know what, probably there's another way that I could do it. And I mean, so I stopped token trees and all that stuff. So my freestyle, cause my mother was telling me like, yo, your brain cells are gonna get burnt, all types of dumb shit. But I was like, yo, I don't want my freestyle to be whack.
Yeah.
So I said, yo, let me not do that, cause then I'll fuck shit up. So then I kind of like not did that and showed my friends like, yo, look, I can go cold turkey and my shit off the top would be more stellar than anything you writing.
Right.
And it was like as a way to show to my people on some Frank Zappa shit, because he came out with mad abstract music, but he never really got twisted.
Yeah.
So you could get high off your own. So the
You
body
can get
in
high
itself.
working out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Right.
then when I started working out, even though it was a coping mechanism to deal with the PTSD, at the same time, all them endorphins being released got me high. But the thing that really gets me high is performing and shit like that. But working out allows you to become a better performer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it allows you to reach certain levels when you're trying to spit like a triple time or things in a bar that could, when you get a reaction from the audience, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So there's no high that could ever equate to that.
To the stage.
But the working out all leads up to that, because what you're showing the fans is like, yo, I'm working this hard to give you the quality show that you deserve.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that when you leave out there, you give them experience.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. Because I'm not good at like marketing and none of that bullshit, but I'm good at least putting on a good show.
Right.
And that's my marketing potential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I notice like you have to do the research and development. In this case, go to the gym. People look at me like I'm crazy. They'll be like, well, why you running like this? Or why you doing like that? I'm like, yo, listen, look at what I do, and then you do what you do, and we see what's up.
Yeah.
And then you see results. If we get on stage together and you lackluster, that's not my fucking fault. Because I already put in the time behind this shit. You was out here bullshitting, I wasn't. You know what I mean? But I think
that's awesome.
I think that also working out is just in general, you know what I mean? It allows you to, I mean, the way our human beings we were made to be hunter gatherers, right?
Correct.
We evolved from, I don't know, a couple thousand motherfuckers, black Homo sapiens from Africa, and then migrated out of East Africa chasing animals, and then eventually we became like farmers and shit like that as time evolved, civilization, all that shit. All that shit made people lazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because nowadays we don't have to, it's in our genetics in order to continue hunting.
Right.
Because even though things have gone on, we haven't evolved to the point where our genetics know like, yo, you know, we're not hunting anymore and shit. That's why people gorge on shit. We're still in that. And so how's the way that you can channel that? My way is still doing it by going to the gym. I'm still appeasing or telling my genes like, I know what you think. I see what I see. You can't see what I see, but I know that there's a way we could meet halfway if I just continue to work out and give you the impression that I'm on this hunt.
Yeah.
Or go on stage and I'm hunting instead of, it's the crowd we hunting right now,
Right.
you know, instead of the gazelle. So you have to like transition those evolutionary traits that still exist within us, and
just change the hunt.
The hunt.
You're not
So-
hunting buffalo
Damn, that's
anymore. You're
deep.
hunting
That's
You know what I'm
deep.
saying?
a good stage
So
show.
when you
Yeah.
on there and you running and shit, I'm running. I'm still thinking like I'm still connected to that spirit, and that spirit translates well when you on stage, or if you Tyson in the ring, or you this, that, and the third. People want us to forget of our evolutionary roots and where we from, and unfortunately, we're still a young species.
Yeah.
We only been on this planet for 200,000 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The planet's 4 billion fucking years old.
Yeah.
It took that long for people to get from brown eyes to blue eyes and shit. So not a lot has changed, but us and our brains have gone beyond our capability of our genetics comprehending what is occurring and shit
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So in that middle world and shit, where all that's going on, I'm like, I see the big in the big scheme of things. So I'm just gonna make sure that I cater to my genes, telling them like, yo, I'm still out here, we still hunting.
Yeah.
And then I'm from the Caribbean, you know what I mean? Like we the last, the Tainos almost were decimated and shit like that. So you know what I mean? Imagine like a large amount of Puerto Ricans have Arawak ancestry, and we can never connect to these people in some way in terms of language, because we don't speak the language. We
Right.
say barbecue or tobacco or, you know what I'm saying, bojillo and shit like that. The remnants of the language, but we don't speak it. And we don't do the rituals because we don't know it.
Right.
Because it was all
Because they
stripped
were
away.
wiped out.
But we still have it in our genes. Our genes still kind of think and activate to the genetic memory and go back to that. So how you cater to that? It's in you. So you do that through you know, whatever ritual you do, you know what I'm saying? Mine's is music and shit, and doing stuff like that. And also, you know, Puerto Ricans have West African black ancestry, and that's obviously tribal, and then a bunch of different tribes, not only one, like Congo, Yoruba, whatever, shit goes all over the place. And then the Spaniards themselves have their own mixture, and then they have their own warrior kind of code. So you just got a bunch of warrior encoded in your DNA, and you gotta let that shit out.
And a bunch of drums, and
I work out to like old Afro Puerto Rican shit.
Yeah, like you hear the drum and your body can't help but react to it.
Yeah, so we you know, we're tribal people. You know what I'm saying? That come from and the one outlet that we have to do it is through music, because that's the continuum and shit like that. In Puerto Rico, people still play hand drums. How many people you know here in the States? I'm talking about not people that came from Africa recently.
Yeah.
That was stripped of their drums. They had to adapt their shit to like European instrumentation and create a jazz, which is a phenomenon in itself. But in Puerto Rico, people still had the drums.
Congas, yeah, absolutely.
Not even congas, like the barrels. But you're right about congas, like in Cuba and shit like that. The Caribbean is a place of where a lot of things originated from.
Yeah.
That's why hip hop came in the Bronx from Jamaicans.
Yes.
And Puerto Ricans. So it was a Caribbean re-influence with the South all together, mixed in New York, which only New York City could bring about all the different genres. Like they brought about bebop, they brought about fucking punk rock, they brought about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So
there was a huge jazz renaissance in Harlem.
Yeah, I mean Harlem had its renaissance, but jazz actually came from like the 50s and shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
from the South.
I'm talking about like the 50 blocks, like Birdland and all that bullshit. So a lot of people did come from Harlem, but you know they came from Kentucky and all that shit, and they were driven to come to New York to get their sound. And in the process of doing so, they created bebop because of, you know, New York is so fast and so many jazz cultures, all them cultures
align in one place.
Melting pot.
Yeah, and so it's like that. But going back to what you say, like working out helped me out as a coping mechanism, but also allowed me to tap into my warrior spirit, which each human being has going since the days of 200,000 years ago to now. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I got a quote for you. I got a quote for you. This from Socrates. He said, "It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable." So that's what you're doing. Like, you're pushing your body to the limit. Like, you know, like I was saying before, you can not only evolve, but you can devolve. So people, you know, there's a lot of fitness craze right now, but there's other people that are going the opposite way and just becoming absolutely hella lazy. They don't go out to take walks. They don't do anything. So, yo, you could devolve your body and not be able to, you know, do other things that you were supposed to have done.
Yeah, everything you said is right. Like, I mean, when I was being pushed to, well, my boy Lou, he was like, he used to be a sergeant in the Marines and became a firefighter in Jersey City. But he would push me. A lot of my friends, they wasn't pushing like that. A lot of your friends, they want to get you high. Yeah. They want to get you drunk. They want to do other things. But nobody's like, yo, let's go make this money. Or let's go lift these weights. Let me make sure your health is good. Right. Let me help you out with your discipline so you could be a better person in life. So you could be a contributing member to whatever your community is and shit like that. Nobody doing shit like that for some reason.
Very few.
Yeah. And when I look at that, I'll be like, that's bugged the fuck out. And we out here giving people, even when I was younger, my family couldn't give me insight. My moms didn't know. It's like crazy, the generation, the disconnect between even language gap. But there's certain things that they didn't have the know-how to do. And you'd be like, yo, it's so fucking easy. Yeah. But they didn't have to.
Also remember, they didn't have the opportunities to learn that we had.
You're right.
They were so focused on surviving.
That's an interesting take that goes on. I'm assuming that in the future, as Hispanics continue to make a good segment of the population, we'll be going back and reflecting on that kind of dynamic.
Oh yeah,
on how we have to code switch because, you know what I mean?
Like, I don't understand. I'll never get how like my mother and my aunt did it, because they came here as like basically they were about to finish high school. They didn't know the language. Then my mother got pregnant with me. Like, now you don't know the language. You barely have a fucking American education. And on top of that, you have me running around. And you're an immigrant. You're new to this country. You don't know shit about this place. Like, how the fuck did they do that shit?
They had no choice.
Yeah. But it's like you said, survival instincts kicked in.
Yeah. They had no choice and they had to
think they look back at wherever they came from and they're like, shit, this is way better than anything I would be able to if I had the same situation going on back in my my homeland. That's why we always need immigrants, because immigrants feed in and then give
We're all
insight
immigrants,
and all that.
bro.
Yeah,
We're
shit.
all
All of us,
even
everybody.
the white people.
Facts.
You know, oftentimes
They often the real immigrants, because
yeah,
they
they'll
came
be the
from
like they'll
wild,
be the ones like, oh,
ocean
go back
away.
to your country and shit. You know, when these racist incidents occur, the white folk be the ones like, oh, go back to your country. It's like, nigga, go back to your country.
Yeah.
You
I think that's
to
crazy
Russian
when people.
motherfucker.
I mean, I always put it like this. They say the presence of natives in this country have been, at least recently, I think there was an article on CNN when he found out that it goes back to 20,000 years, right? And the United States has only existed for 250 years.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It ain't rocket science and shit
There was
like
a lot
that.
of people here before us.
Yeah, we're a teardrop in
Native
the fucking
Americans,
ocean.
man.
Of the
You know
world
what I'm
and shit,
saying?
yeah.
And the vast majority of Hispanics who are growing exponentially here, specifically from like Central Mexico, Central America, Mexico, even South
El
America.
Salvador, Honduras. Yeah.
All natives. You know what I'm saying? So like everything come back around. Like if civilization ceased to exist conceptually, if we wanted to use that as an analogy, then there'll be the vegetation to grow over that shit. So that's not gonna stop.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah. So like when I look at what's going on right now, like it's not that there's no profit shit. It's just there's not enough numbers of Europeans coming or Africans coming from across the Atlantic to fill in the numbers of people that have already existed here, or the descendants of people that existed here for thousands of years, and they're just filling the ranks of the other brothers who were depleted from the north, not necessarily doing it as intentionally. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening to go that way because the United States always advertises itself like the shining house on the hill. And if you doing
regardless
that,
of the truth and what's inside the house, but
yeah, so it's weird the way how everything is coming back full circle,
Yeah.
but it's not meant to be. It's not like people are intentionally meaning for it to be that way. It's just that's what's manifesting in front of them. It's like manifest destiny in reverse. Like that's what y'all want to do. All right? You open up Pandora's box where it comes now back to you.
exactly. And
You know what I mean?
the majority minority dynamic gets reversed.
And that's what's gonna occur and shit. And that's why it's good. Like the people like us lead an example by working out for our people who want to look up to people in the hip hop, because they English speaking Hispanics that are growing, largely, and they like hip hop because hip hop is the voice of the day, right?
Well, not only that, you got to remember to go back to what we were talking about earlier, the drums.
Exactly.
So the drums are ingrained in your DNA,
Yeah.
and the hip hop drum driven music from Africa, from Spanish, from jazz. All that shit combined into this gumbo, and you feel it automatically because it's from you.
I think people from the Caribbean, you know, say I'm from the Caribbean. I'm assuming you from the Caribbean. And shit. Where you from?
South America.
South America, what, Colombia or something?
Argentina.
Argentina, that's gangster. But like even like tango come with milonga and shit like that. Like tango is still African driven and shit like that.
It is.
But like in Puerto Rico specifically, like one of the foundations in the culture is very Afrocentric, Africanness, West African. Everyone in their stepmother could say that. Even if even the lightest Puerto Rican got somebody in their family got nappy head. Like you swing a bat, you gonna hear somebody in your family that was a slave.
Hell yeah.
That's just the way it is. Because it's a Caribbean island surrounded by other islands in the Caribbean that are populated with majority black folks. And there ain't no way escaping that. It's not like if you were in Argentina or Ireland or even Uruguay. Even Uruguay has a people that come in from Brazil and shit like that. But it's in the Caribbean. It's constantly going to have an influx of black folks coming from St. Thomas, St. Croix, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Barbados.
Not to cut you off, but that's
like,
one of the funniest ones right there. Dominican Republic and Haiti. Shout out to all my Dominican brothers and sisters. Shout out to all my Haitian brothers and sisters. But how is that not like
How is there such
How
a
is that
huge-
not one? You know what I mean?
I could tell you why, and I'm gonna tell you why is because one existed longer than the other, and like the Hispanic culture is a very strong culture when it's cultivated and it's already and has people in full form inside of it, right? Because you have a lot of Italians that live in Argentina, but they are fiercely Hispanic.
Right.
They're not by genetics because they're Italian, even though that's Latin-esque, is not from Spain.
Right.
But they will defend their Latinness, Latinidad.
Yeah.
It's a strong culture.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's accepting. You know what I mean? Latinos, Taínos are a perfect example. Taínos had an island. These motherfuckers came. we invited them in. We welcomed them.
You embraced them. You embraced them.
We fucking loved on them, and then
they fucked you.
Them being them.
Yeah.
I mean, what they do.
Yeah, I think it's just men being men. Like, cause to be truthful with you, when those people came on the boats, it wasn't all just white folks with them. I mean, that was at the tail end of kicking the Moors out of Grenada. Like, Grenada was the last stand and shit like that. And right after that, some of the, I guess, money from there was used to finance the trip for Columbus to go to find a shortcut to the East Indies, not knowing that he would fall into the Americas, right? So there was folks that were Sephardic Jews that were forced to convert to Catholicism, and they were just looking to escape. So they're like, yo, there's a boat going the fuck out of here. I'm on that. There was Moors who were,
but that's what I mean. They were glad to escape.
The mercenaries glad to escape.
They weren't on a mission to go
conquer,
take some shit over.
Well, you know, the thing is, I think the nature of Spain at the moment with La Reconquista.
Well, Spain, because they had the
kicking out all of that, you know what I mean? And the fact that they had like swelled their ranks with mercenaries and shit, and there were people trying to escape, but at the same light, that vibe was still there. I mean, one of the conquistadors was Juan Garrido. He was a black dude, and he's well documented. Not only him, but others. You know, the first black folks to set foot. And I know a lot of people not going to want to hear this because it changes the narrative and shit.
It's fine.
But I'm just being real.
The truth is the truth.
So like one of the first, and I learned that from a nieta and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's bugged out. Now that wasn't the vast majority of black folks that stepped foot on the island and shit like that. But what I'm saying is like there was people that were black and that were accompanying conquistadors who were not slaves before blackness was synonymous with slavery to the Western world. That were out there helping pacify natives, killing motherfuckers and doing all that shit. So everybody had their hand in some blood there and shit like that. Even their own natives was out there. The only people that was getting fucked the most was the Tainos because they really probably in some sort of way, at least from what I could tell, like if you go to the Aztecs, it looked like the Aztecs were really dicks and shit, and then the groups around them kind of like, yo, we had no choice, but we gotta fucking get with these dudes that look like foreigners to try to offset the balance of power here, because y'all motherfuckers treated us like shit and ripped our hearts out. The Incas most likely turned the same, but Tainos ain't do shit like that.
No,
they were very simple people. They kept themselves and they fought the Caribs, who were a little bit way more aggressive. You know what I mean? And even in, I think out of all the islands, if you look at like Jamaica was named Land of the Springs and shit like that. Cuba's Land of Abundance. Quisqueya's Land of the Mother of Lands, and with Haiti in their land, mountainous regions. Only Puerto Rico's Land of the Valiant Brave Lord. So probably the warriors were in that part of the Greater Antilles at the front, because that's the front where all the Caribs would come up from the Lesser Antilles to try to attack them and shit like that. So but even though they were warriors and shit like that, they were still peaceful. They were like, yo, we ain't trying to go take over the Caribs. You coming up to us. And you know, trying to
kind of like we gotta protect ourselves.
Yeah, we got no other. I heard like from recently I was wondering, like, you know, this crazy conversation going all over the place.
No, it's
fine. Recently there was a study done about the Garifunas, who are the black Caribs, because there was a slave ship that got shipwrecked off an island which is known as St. Vincent now, but it wasn't then. And these slaves were from Ghana, and they mixed with the Carib Indians already. But the Carib Indians already had a unique kind of language situation, because the men were speaking Carib and the women were speaking Taino. So the Carib men would go and steal Taina women, and then you know what I'm saying, have children with them. But the children would be speaking Taino until a certain age, then the boys would speak Carib, but the women would continue the Taino language. It was crazy. It was now based on gender. And those black.
So how does the man even communicate with the woman?
Because they understand, but they know that it was women will speak Taino, and the boys, when they get old, they'll speak a little bit Taino for a little bit, and then they'll transition as they get older to Carib. And so the black Ghanaians who end up intermingling with them kept that tradition going, and when the Spaniards couldn't subdue these mixed groups now, so what they did eventually, the British went in there and they were able to eventually subdue them, and they separated the black Caribs from the lighter Caribs, and the black Caribs were exiled to the Atlantic coast. of what we now know as Central America, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, all that shit. They're only black folks that speak a native language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people normally, like, even in Cuba, people speak 17th century Yoruba, Congo, and shit like that. No, these motherfuckers speak Arawak.
Still.
But you could tell within their language, there's the feminine from the Taínos speaking, and then the male line from. So they're the last people that actually speak Taíno in some sort of way because of whatever type of arrangement that occurred on that island. Not by chance, that's so mad.
Tradition,
but it's black people keeping a tradition of brown people alive. So we talking from one.
I heard of that.
Yeah, so
there's somebody I met that was Honduran and they were black. They looked like black. And I was like, oh, so you talk Spanish? She's like, nah, I speak another language. I'm like, what the fuck? But you Honduran is the island off Honduras.
Oh yeah, because some of them.
I was like, oh shit.
Some of them speak Spanish when they're on the mainland, but they are these little islands off Central America that they ended up populating and shit like that. And it's just mad weird. There should be a movie about that shit. There's so much things in Latin America that are not being explored, and that's why it's a shame where we looked at by our color when we rap, and people don't understand how much history and knowledge and how much we can contribute to hip hop
and have
on
contributed,
and have continuously
from day one.
Which brings us to our next
people be
topic,
wild dismissive and
which
shit.
is like Latinos in hip hop, and from the very beginning, you know, there was a big discussion, especially after the Fat Joe Ja Rule verses, and people were getting at Fat Joe. They were like, yo, we're tired of you Latinos coming in here and fucking basically, basically taking our culture. Yeah,
I could see what's going on now because of the fact that what the United States has caused to the black population here, and the fact that there's a distinction between white and black, which those lines are blurred within Latin America. You know, in Puerto Rico, I myself I look white, and my uncle got like straight nappy hair and quote unquote nappy. I'm not trying, you know, saying that there's no such thing as bad hair, but you know, we just talking about in the context of how people could comprehend in the culture of the United States. So like texture of hair is a big thing and shit like that, especially he's still in the Caribbean, because you got people be like, él tiene pelo grifo, él tiene pelo malo, you know how that breaks down and shit like that. So, but we're a little bit more mixed, you know what I mean? Like someone as white as myself could have African and indigenous ancestry, and that won't be that's just a given. Like, but you still blanco and shit like that. But out here, there's no. The Anglos kept it Anglo, and when they did intermingle with blacks and got lighter shade, they would still deem them black.
Yeah, regardless.
So to black folks, you know what I mean? Like being black, the color is something that they have to protect. That's something, and they have to protect what comes out of that. So if you have other people that contributed to it, and we might be of some African extraction, but we don't know the exact experiences of black folks outside the New York City metropolitan area, because New York in itself is its own universe. They're not gonna be accepting of who we are, because they don't know who we are.
Right.
They're not educated about what we went through. And then when on the outside looking in, they could see that there's racism within our own society. They'll look at what goes on DR with Haiti. They'll look at what goes on in different other places. I'll be like, well, shit, y'all treated black people like that. How can we accept you? And look how light you look. You look white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what? They
probably have a point.
There's some validity in this shit because of a paranoia that was created the way how the system was designed here. But not only that, how the system is also in our own homes and what we doing to change that now. But they don't know we could be the super allies. Caribbean Hispanics particularly that actually have African persuasion more than most, right? We know of our history. We still retain our African tradition. We can actually reintroduce Africa back here and shit. And then it's an exchange of cultures like it always has been. But when they see Fat Joe, all they see is his skin color.
Right.
Fuck all the shit that he contributed to the culture. Fuck what he did. They see crazy legs. All they see is his skin culture. Fuck that he had an afro and this, that, and none of that means shit. So there's racism and there's bias. And now in this world where black folks be like, y'all are with us or you against us.
Right.
A lot of people wasn't throwing up their BLM shit like that. Some Hispanics was like, whoa, my cousin's a cop and Blue Lives Matter, and they got a little sticky. You know what I'm saying? So things, it's a dialogue that has to continue between these two groups to understand that we more alike than we are apart. You know what I mean? But it's also Hispanics. They gotta be like, yo, motherfucker, Like, be easy. You out here, you know, you think you better than because you this, or you think you better Haitians because of this. Even though I know that within Haiti and DR, that's a cultural situation that's re-emphasized by race. You know what I mean? Because
exactly. I want to address that because me being Dominican, you know what I'm saying, and also being dark skinned, I'm considered black.
Right.
I know the dynamic, and there's racism in every country in the America.
That's
Latin
a fact.
America.
That's a fact.
There's racism
in every country, not even
not
in
just
Latin
the Dominican
America.
Republic.
Like in PR, there's wild racism that occurred.
Everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like but even in the Jack, I'm about to like I'm gonna re-emphasize your point, or the point that you was about to make. Like DR established itself culturally for 200 years probably before the French infiltrated that region that was not that part of the Hispaniola, because it was all Hispaniola, right? But people don't know Hispaniola is Quisqueya or Haiti or whatever they want, and that was the base of the caciques for the Taínos. That was like the, you know, where the government was at. You know what I'm saying? Right. But when they brought in the Africans and shit like that, they didn't bring them in numbers like they did with the part with the French when they controlled their part, because they brought Africans solely as bodies to be used to cultivate the soil, die and then be replaced. There was no way of trying to create a nationhood out of these people or have a cultural identity. Whereas the Spaniards, when they brought Africans in, they brought them in, but a large times the Africans that came in there, even though it was through slavery, were able to cultivate land. A lot of them became like what would be considered cowboys, or you know what I'm saying. They had a different. It was a different arrangement.
Right.
Sugarcane probably came in a little bit later, but it wasn't like one of the main base things. So a large amount of their populace was able to have some sense of independence and probably win their freedom. I mean, even in Puerto Rico, the majority of black folks that lived there were free. They weren't slaves. So in Haiti, the practice of slavery, the institution of slavery practiced or put in place by the French was way more severe and caused that to be like a total separation. And so you got two distinct cultures that are existing in one zone, which is possible.
One island. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So when the Haitians took over the whole island, the Dominicans that already settled in, like, yo, bro, we already got our little, you know, that's why I said Hispanic culture is powerful. That in turn, the Spaniards will pacify people by Catholicizing them and then make them adapt the language. And then they henceforth in some sort of way feel like they're part of Spain.
Well, they also weaken them by causing that division.
Kind of shit like that. So then
they create that inner tension or racism that didn't occur before. So now darker skins are fighting lighter skins. So now their power is diminished, it's cut in half. Right. And we could come in and fuck both y'all up and take over.
And the Spaniards, I think, to one, you know, they already knew we have a higher class where the Creole elites are at the top, which tend to be whites, non-mixed, come from directly from Spain, and then everyone else in there. But DR had a little bit more of a complex, more situation. I know time is running out, but we can talk about this shit forever.
Shit was going on,
yo, that's deep, yo. But you know your shit.
But what happened when DR, when the culture shock was when that part of the island, which was totally linguistically different, and the institution of slavery was practiced in a whole different way than it was now unleashed on the other part of the island. And then they had their own fight to win independence from the Haitians, which occupied the island for 20 years, I believe. And then after that, they invited the Spaniards over again and then had to refight the Spaniards to gain independence again. So Dominican Republic had to gain independence twice, right? Because the Puerto Rican movement is based on Dominican independence, because Ramon Bentanes was from DR, came to PR, and the flag of Lattes looks no different than the Dominican flag out of solidarity.
Hey, yo, you know your shit,
also,
dog.
like one of the Max Gomez, who was a fighter of Dominican independence against the Spaniards, went to help the Cubans out. And Dominicans had a lot to do with Cuban independence too. And so they helped them out, and you know what I'm saying, he ended up becoming a general in the island of the Mambisas or whatever fuck, and then end up settling in Cuba. Like, if you're from the Caribbean, you should know Caribbean history. So I know Caribbean history because I'm from the Caribbean. But knowing the Caribbean history is also ingrained with African or history of African people in the diaspora.
Right.
which a lot of people don't know about. So when they look at me, it'd be like, oh, this, that, or the third. They don't know, like, I'll come from a region where this is part of who we are.
It's part of your lineage.
It's already in the shit. It's already mixed in there.
Exactly.
People don't know here because they removed from whatever. But there was way more wars of people of color trying to get independence and shit like that before shit ever happened here. Because nowhere in the United States of America was there a whole nation within a nation that said, yo, this is free black nation or free that. But in the Caribbean there is. You know what I mean? So we could speak about them shit. So, you know what I mean? Like the it's really deep. And what's reinforced by race is now that, you know what I'm saying, the Haitians end up being more blacker because they were more directly from Africa. They weren't mixed with Tainos and shit. Probably some people in the mountains, probably with some French shit, but it's more black because they kept replacing slaves. That every slave died, they didn't care about. That's where black lives didn't matter at all because there was everyone that died, they kept import. It was cheaper to import another one. But in DR, people already ingrained into the land. They already mixed with Taino too, because these are now you gotta understand, Española was the first settlement, so they've been mixing with even Dominicans. When you check their bloodline, they have Arawak ancestry. If you do the same with Haitians, it'll probably be one more West African. Even though Dominicans have West African largely, but they still have that Arawak remnant in there because, you know what I mean, the mixing occurred from the inception of the colony. There's two different worlds existing on one island.
On one island, yeah.
Now, is there a way to reconcile that? I'm sure there would be if there's a compromise and shit.
Well, they
like
gotta
that,
fucking compromise first, because like you said, wasn't it just a few months ago or last year that DR was deporting Haitians or some shit?
Well, you know, like you got 1 million Haitians in DR, right? And they got their own little border situation. Now, there is forms of racism that do exist because it's always easier for one person that's up on the social hierarchy to look down on the rest. And if it goes by color, then one just stands out more than the other one, right? It is what it is. And that also could be set in place by the Creole Spaniard elites from back in the days that still exist. Because a lot of Dominicans be like, no, mi patria es España. When the patria is really like Africa, then España, then where you at right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of different things that a lot of education has to come on. But ignorance could also be reinforced by if you see a group of people that look different than you, then it's easier for you to keep that intact because there's someone that says, oh, there's a mouth of people that want. You know, like Trujillo. Even Trujillo's grandmother was probably was Haitian. So there's a lot of integration between the two cultures.
But there's also a lot of self-hate.
There's a lot of self-hate.
Try to whitewash.
There's a lot of all of that. That's even like a lot of that.
Like that's the double-edged sword of us Latin people, right? Us right now, everyone in this room, we could be one family. And we don't look alike. You know what I mean? We can go from a very pale, blonde, blue-eyed Latino to a very dark,
especially in the Caribbean,
curly-haired, brown-eyed Latino. And they can all be family. Right. In the same family, DNA, like cousins, blood brothers, all this shit. That's the beauty of it.
You come to the United States.
And then the other side of the coin is this same family, the whiter ones will shit on the darker ones. And they'll have this internal beef.
That's,
you know what I mean?
And that's societal shit because it is being re-emphasized by the social hierarchy that was established since the colonial period.
Yeah, and
then
still there's bleeds some into Puerto what Ricans or Cubans that will deny African DNA being a part of their, you know what I mean?
That's rather interesting. In Puerto Rico, like everyone who takes a DNA test, even many of the white folks, including myself, you know, I even come out with 12% West African ancestry because of the fact that one cannot escape the throes of slavery.
You cannot deny what makes you up.
Now,
you know
and it'll be reinforced because, again, this is not Ireland. Not even Argentina. No throw to Argentina. Argentina is one of the only countries within Latin America that could still retain a white population because a large amount of them come from abroad, like Italy. A good segment of population is from Italy and Germany and stuff like that. Even though on top of the natives that already existed there, and some of the Africans, but they probably were already mixed out. The Spaniards had a way of whitening shit by mixing people out. You know what I'm saying? That's how they did it.
Basically,
but
whitewashing.
What they didn't know is that DNA lives. You can whitewash 10 generations.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
There's still going to be a little bit of that African DNA in there. You can't take it out.
Nah, now we have a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, are coming in through these DNA tests and having people now finding out who the fuck they really are and then connecting the dots and shit like that. And so, you know, we are living in interesting times. And as our numbers grow, like they have been, it's going to get even a little bit more interesting and a little bit more stickier. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
This is a unique period where Hispanics can come and have some self-reflection and how we want to set the tone for how we want to be represented in the future and our interactions with other people that are other groups that we live, where we coexist with, that are neighbors, particularly black folks and shit like that.
Especially in this country.
It's basically in this country right now. Like, you know, I'm talking about in this country because that's where the spotlight is at. And
but it's going to take
hip-hop.
Unity. You know what I mean?
Everything you said, it takes a lot of us looking at ourselves and trying to change certain dynamics. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of the reconciliation of what's going on in DR and Haiti, which obviously, you know, whatever could work over. These same people have to share the same island in order for everyone to progress. My greater vision would be a unified Greater Antilles. In I think Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Dominican Republic first should have been formed as one nation, but unfortunately the United States had other plans. You know what I'm saying? Look at where Cuba is at the total opposite side of the spectrum, and where Puerto Rico's at on the other side. One is capitalist and one is communist. And they both on different sides of the fucking Caribbean. You understand how that takes?
Well, again, division. If you keep them divided, they can't unite and create power. So it makes it easier for us to remain in power.
And what they're stopping, I feel, is the natural flow of things. Whereas it should have been a unified.
The beauty of it is they can only stop it for so long.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying with the United States. 250 years can't stop 20,000 years of continuous presence of a certain group of people.
Genetic evolution and of
just like nature can't stop where like the Caribbean will go at least at one point in time. What we talking is discussions for the future and shit like that. But
it's just like hip hop. It's just like hip hop.
That's what I'm saying about exactly. So like what you said about hip hop, as hip hop continues to grow and more Hispanics start to like it, and more Hispanics start to see themselves as trying to pick up the baton of speaking the voice to the voiceless, right? Because let's say if society works in a direction where it's the recent people that live here already move up the chain of the ladder and shit like that, there's always going to be immigrants that are always going to be at the bottom.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to need their voice people. Right? And the voice of those people that are going to take that baton are most likely these people coming in from Central and South America. And
they most likely feel more empowered to dive into that arena if they knew that their ancestors were there helping to create that arena, which is something that we and other companies are looking to educate people on, because that's a different kind of, I don't even want to call it whitewash. We might want to call that blackwash.
Nah,
you know what I mean? Where the originators that helped to create hip hop have kind of been pushed into a shadow.
I think I think when people live in a situation where they feel like what happened to rock and roll, they be like, well, you know, we don't want white folks to take over, and in the process, it'll have to be at the expense of the Puerto Ricans who contributed to it.
But that's such a
that's just bugged out. But it is what it is.
It is bugged out because they already lost hip hop. You know what I mean? It's already a corporate. We right, absolutely right. We already lost hip hop. We haven't lost the culture. You know, we can always cultivate the culture, and we can always come up with new shit, and we know the rules of hip hop and what it taught
People
us.
tell, you know what I mean?
But
like,
it's corporate now.
And that's one thing, and you know, sometimes that even makes it even more, because the illusion of whatever is kept is now has to be purified, at least to the people who consider themselves the gatekeepers, not knowing that there's other people.
I think the gatekeepers are focused on the wrong enemy. You know
not only that, who are the gatekeepers? That's the other thing. The record labels are now the gatekeepers. They're the ones that say you can pass, you go over there.
Because it's the money. It's what makes money. But that's like what it is. When it comes down to it, when you look at hip hop, right? When I look at hip hop is as an African-based music, because that's what it is. Like, you look at Afro-Cuban music, right? They have their folklorists. You got the Muñequito de Matanza. You got the people that Afro-Cuba de Matanza and shit like that. Those are the people that retain that tradition. And what people like you and myself do, and y'all, you know, what we do here is retain that tradition, because that's what we are about. So we are the gatekeepers of the true expression of the culture from a grassroots level. You know what I'm saying? And that when they tell you shit like, oh well, you know, hip hop is an age thing. The industry creates age as a thing, but that's not a thing, because you could have somebody like Cuco Waloy from Dominican Republic rocking, and rocking stages amazing, still keeping the tradition of what's going on. People will acknowledge it as something whatever, but they'll know that it's still music and it's still good, and that's what it really comes down to.
But that theory of hip hop being a young man's game is, you can't prove that, because hip hop ain't been around long enough for there to be old men participating in the game.
Shit, I remember when I was younger though, like I could. This is so weird, because when I was younger, I could hear Kumo D. Oh, I could hear like Melly Mel, whatever, and I could just notice there's a way distinction. It was some sort of like of evolution that occurred that must have jumped mad like 2 decades in just a year or 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Where you could be like, nah, that shit sound old. Because they ain't sounding like Coogee rap. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that was the beauty of hip hop, that it was so young.
But it was evolving so fast.
Yes, exactly. Especially in the 80s. And not even in the 80s. I want to say from like 85 to 88, there was a drastic evolution. When you had before 85, you had Curtis Blow, you had Grandmaster Flash and all them. They were rapping a certain way. Then came Run DMC, changed it up a little bit. But then, like you said, you had
like every 10 years.
You had 86,
every 10 years.
Right? 86, you had Coogee rap, you had Rakim, and they just elevated the art form.
And then you had the golden age.
Yeah, which was from 88, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94.
J Roll the Damage or whatever they was experimenting with, and then put it on.
They even elevated it even more. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
then when I was younger, even myself, to have that mind where I was like, wow, I could notice that this evolution was occurring in front of my face. Listen to Bobbito and Stretch.
We witnessed it.
Yeah, because I can't believe that my mind as a young adolescent was like, oh shit, I'm actually can sense and have the consciousness that there is this evolution
shift
manifesting right the fuck now. And I'm like, yo, that's gangster.
It's still occurring. It's
still occurring. You're right.
You can ask me who's your favorite rapper, and I got to think about it. And I'm always probably gonna defer to like a Biggie or a Nas, because those are my golden years. But when I really, really think about it, like before that, it was Slick Rick. After that, it might have been like maybe like 50 or whoever. Like, you feel me? There's gonna be in every couple of 10 years, every gap, somebody that emerges that might be your new favorite artist. It keeps happening.
That's crazy that, because I'll tell you, when I got into like hip hop, like I already knew that this is where I'm talking about not feeling old, but why I kind of knew that there was a distinction. Like when I would listen to like that, I was like, that wasn't jamming with me.
What wasn't?
Like the
older hip hop?
For some reason, I don't know, I didn't take to it. So now look, I'm talking about like now seeing contradictions in my own shit and why people would say what they say. But then when I started looking at that was the young Nell. What the new Nell now sees, I appreciate that, because I hear new rap language by fucking Treacherous 3, and I could be like, wow, there was an evolution, and that caused the precursor to why I like Coogee rapping. But I didn't know though. I didn't fill in those blanks.
But again, there's many factors as to why you might not have felt it at that time. You know what I'm saying?
I was still young,
you were still young. Your ears were young. It was a whole new thing, a whole new culture. Yo, keep it real. Early hip hop wasn't the best hip hop either. You know what I mean?
No.
In my household, there was no hip hop,
and also
that's another Latin thing.
So hip hop wasn't the first music, and it probably wasn't even allowed off the rip.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
We had to go outside to keep that, and only outside, because in the crib they wasn't gonna bump that.
No.
There was my family came from Lauderdale, Puerto Rico, to Arecibo, then to the Bronx, then to Hoboken, then to Jersey City, right? And within that time, my grandparents raised me, not my parents. My father wasn't present in my life. My mother wanted to educate herself, so she couldn't be there giving me the time. My grandparents had to raise me.
As many Latin kids were.
I knew more about Odilio Gonzalez, because that was like Lares is a small town in Puerto Rico. If you from there, there's one dude they always talk about, Odilio Gonzalez. So they had the 45 records, and that's the motherfucker that they knew more about the most. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm hearing about like hip hop and shit, I had to put on through my other cousins who live in the projects, and it was a little bit more risque than me.
Right.
And they were girls. So they putting me up on shit, and they were twins, and they were from Hoboken Projects. So I would go
girls
out.
know what time it is,
Yeah,
though, man.
basically.
Girls know what time it is.
Yo, rest in peace of my cousin. She passed away and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I remember that was one of her legacy in my life. That she introduced me to hip hop from that point. And my best friend who lived around the corner, who coincidentally got murdered in '99 too. So like, you know what I'm saying? The people that really were the people that brought hip hop into my life are basically not here because they were taken away. But I'm glad that they brought that musical legacy on for
That's
me to
how
live
they
for.
live on.
Exactly.
Right.
And rest in peace to both of them.
Basically. And that's deep in itself. You know what I'm saying? That's deep in itself. But when I went and I started seeing like when they would put me up on like video music box, I'm like, oh shit, this is risky. We ain't watching this in my house. We ain't had no cable in my house. My grandfather he just had the bills, and we had the fucking 45 record table to play the Odelio Gonzalez shit.
The same ones.
And sometimes they play Radio Wado or whatever the fuck or shit that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up on that, so my household was first bilingual. Like my household was a Spanish household.
Yeah.
But when I left outside, I code switched and got ghetto English. You know what I'm saying? Through what we spoke in the streets. But I didn't have nothing like that. Then when I got to video music box, I was appreciating hip hop from that point on. But I missed out on all the other shit that my boys had to tell me, oh, you ain't hear about Coogee Rap? Like, I ain't get to grow up in a house like that. You have brothers and sisters. I grew up as the oldest one, and my father bounced when I was younger. I remember he had the 8-track tapes, and that's it. And sometimes we hear like fucking the like if it came on commercial radio, but nobody was like, yo, get these records and do this, that, and the third. I ain't know that. But then it became,
it was on you.
Yeah, it was on me, but it was also
and remember, this is I'm gonna assume this is the 80s we're talking about.
Like
this is not 2020 where you find some shit and you're like, oh, let me Google it and find out everything about this.
So I had to do the research now all over. It's
On
like
hand,
I missed
like,
all of this shit that all these other motherfuckers outside of my house when I couldn't go outside. We play Warsies and shit, but then I had to be in the house. But ain't nobody had no beatbox.
Burnz.
They said Warsies. Oh my God.
Yo, shout out to Jersey City, man. Word up. Warsies, Burnz, Manhunt.
So when I went out there, I got put on the hip hop through my best friend who lived around the corner from me, right? And we was together. He got murdered in '99 by his girlfriend, but he's shit.
Shout out to him and rest in
We
peace.
used to rock on the corner, freestyle. That's how my freestyle got out. We did it the old-fashioned way. Like you had to, because at that time in the late '80s, early '90s, '93, '94 period, that's when people were going to Washington Square Park from Jersey City, hopping the train, end up going to the cages, then go to, start battling or freestyle against other motherfuckers. And we would freestyle on the corner. And it was that era, the 90s era.
And you had to be nice.
You had to be nice.
Let's go back to this era for a second where you had to be nice.
Yeah.
There was no biting allowed. You couldn't look funny.
You couldn't even have a funny name.
And you couldn't have a trash name.
You had to have a dope name.
Yo, that's another thing. See, my name in the streets, because his name was Saya, my name was Tin Man. I had to be called by Tin Man, like heartless motherfucker and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I changed my shit to CF later on. It was supposed to be Child Forsaken. How it got Constant Flow. I think New York came up with that invention because I didn't. It was supposed to be
Hold up. I heard something else. I heard it was Cracka Face.
Oh yeah, that I probably went with too, Cracka Face, because I look white and shit like that.
I also heard Century Flow.
Shit, mad different names that came up, because CF you could get all types of shit, chicken fingers,
I like that.
all types of shit. But my shit started as like Tin Man, but as we was doing music at that time. Around that era is when I got friends that put me on to the whole where you couldn't hip hop. When I started really getting into it, learning about it and shit, getting more into it on radio, you only have like limited time to hear hip hop.
Like a 1 hour show
on WBLS on Kiss
Mr.
FM,
Magic,
right?
Red Alert.
Red Alert. That's what I remember.
Because he would come on at night.
Red Alert was on
107.5.
Nah, he was on 97.
Red Alert was on Kiss. Mr. Magic
98.7. Some shit like that.
Wasn't he on WBLS?
Nah, WBLS was the other
Mr.
station.
Magic.
Yeah, I think. But see, that Mr. Magic would even
the
be.
Mr. Magic show would give you an hour.
I wouldn't even know Mr. Magic before me, because I got on a Red Alert wave.
Yeah,
and if you
that was before me too.
If you turn the dial from Red Alert, which is 98.7, 98.7.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And
that was Kiss.
Yeah, the Kiss FM. And then you turn, like, after they shut off,
go up 106.
99.5 on WBAI had J Smooth Underground Railroad.
Oh yeah, I do remember the Underground.
I think it was on not Thursday. I forgot what stage it was on, Tuesdays or whatever. And then that's when I'll be like, oh shit. And that put me on to that. No. Then within my cause I went to number 5 school in downtown Jersey City, and you had number 5 school was an interesting place because it had people from uptown, people from downtown go to the school. And a lot of people, my people from uptown knew about Bobito and Stretch. And they would put me up on, oh shit, but if you hear 89.9 at this certain time, you know what I mean, you'll be able to record hip hop, the all exclusive shit.
Real.
So when I first changed the dial from 90 Kiss FM to WBAI, and that's when I heard Wu-Tang Protect Your Neck, and I was like, oh, this is a different way. This is way different.
Yeah, because this was shit you never heard. This is the future. You're listening to the future, right?
And they're breaking records.
Exactly.
Right.
That's when underground hip hop and college radio stations would break records, and nobody would know. You just had to make sure that you had your tape cassette ready to record, because you don't know what exclusive you're gonna get.
Exactly.
So then on Bobito and Stretch, I always wanted to rock on there. Then you had fucking Martin Moore's show on NYU. They had their own shit, and then you also had I think was it Special K had his own shit with his group or whatever on another. And Special K was had a lot of he was a real big getter. And in that time, not his, but he was a gatekeeper for
Special
that.
K. No.
It was Special K and I forgot the whole shit. Yeah, he was in a group.
I don't remember the name of it.
And they broke their own
Special K
groups.
did that song, no? That solo song.
No, Positive K did that.
Positive K.
Positive K is different. But Special K was in a he was a DJ or something like that to some for a group. I hope I'm not doing damage to his name, because I don't know the god like that. He a god for what he contributed to hip hop from that time onward to now. But when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, there's these points, and each radio station had a crew. Like Mr. Voodoo would come out of J Smooth Underground Railroad, and with L Swift and them, and then A Butter and all of them, and they would put Natural Elements. You got fucking Big L had on 89 Tech 9. They was getting him mad love up there. He's from Harlem or whatever. They was on 116th in Amsterdam. That's not too far from there, whatever the fuck. And they connected. And then he had 8 is Enough with Party Artie, McGruff, and all them other motherfuckers in there. So they had their little crews and shit like that.
That's my nigga.
So
Burnz.
Party Artie strikes again. Rest in peace, Party Artie.
Yeah, he passed away.
Bloodshot's favorite rapper.
He passed away.
King of battle rap.
Fact, he was. So like that's that Harlem wave and shit like that. But you hear shit like that, and then you know what I'm saying. Like then these other groups had other people, like little groups that they created from their little radio shows.
Back then, those were our internet. That was our internet.
Yeah. There was no internet. There was no internet. I think first internet rapper was that dude Benefit and shit like that.
Yeah, that came later. So back then, Stretch and all these college radio guys and all these shows that were hard to find, and then you would tape them, and the tape was worth.
Bro, I dubbed over my mother's church tapes.
Oh wow! Blasphemy!
Word up! I was fucking wildin', yo.
D1 did that
shit.
My
God.
That's a movie, but I did that. I dubbed over her tapes. So I could, and sometimes I would be a tape technician, so they bring tapes to me, and I fix them and shit like that. Yeah. But sometimes I get one side, and then the other homie will have the other side, and be like, yo, I stood up to this time and this time. Oh shit, I stood up to this time and this time. Like, so let's trade.
Yeah.
And you'll be able, and it'd be like a barter system about like, oh, you got that? I got the Nas freestyle when he fucked up. Exactly. Oh, word? I got the Jay-Z and Big L shit. And we were able to trade on that. You know what I mean? And people don't, those are things that are not being not spoken about. They're not even in movies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't even do that anymore.
No, but I mean, but there's a time period that has not been expressed or shown or documented or even put in movies. They got all this Netflix shit, but they're not even. Especially that would be an interesting story for Jersey City in itself, because Jersey City in the backdrop of the Twin Towers so close to New York. It shows you like you a super underdog, but that's still a story in there. Yeah. But they not telling that story.
You know what's
not yet.
Man, the fuck out.
No, not yet.
And
somebody has to do it.
And I think if that existed still, there would be. I think there wouldn't be like this type of music, and then everything else that falls beneath it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and I lived in Virginia for a while. Like my boy, my best friend down there, he was heavily into like Bone Thugs. He introduced me to AT-aliens.
Yeah.
And I traded one week. I was like, here, take this. I gave him reasonable doubt, and he gave me AT-aliens.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
You already that's a cultural exchange from one region to the next region. That's really dope.
And me and him would exchange. I'll be like, you listen to this, I'll listen to this,
gangster.
and we'll come back.
It allows you to be open-minded. When I was
Word.
growing up in the East Coast around my time, the East Coast, specifically New York, was wild bias to anybody that was not from the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
Even Staten Island in themselves, for them to get recognition through the Wu-Tang, which by way of Brooklyn is the only way that they would be accepted. But Jersey wasn't. That's why Tupac, seeing what it was, left out of there, tried to come back, felt the fact that because he picked up his southern or western twang, that he would not be accepted, and recruited people from Jersey.
Right.
Because he knew that, you know what I'm saying? You people what I'm saying? So like he already knew.
They could basically validate him.
That Jersey could act.
From Jersey,
he'll be like,
and shit.
that's what I'm saying. Like, fuck New York. Jersey's like New York, and y'all the underdogs, and y'all treat them like shit. So I just ally myself with them and make them the New West. So he was doing strategic regional shit too. I'm assuming he would have reconciled all that shit if he didn't get killed. Because his father,
working on it. Yeah,
his father, his biological father, is from Jersey City. You know what I mean?
Is he?
Yeah. He's Billy Garland. He works for the incinerator department.
No,
and he was everybody knows this is a known fact. And the DNA test confirmed it. He looks just like Tupac, but taller. His grandmother, who lived in Jersey City, looked just like Tupac.
Wow.
And his father was a Black Panther from Jersey City. Got with his mother, but his mother was probably way more involved than he was, and then left, and whatever the fuck. I don't know all the story, but yeah, the roots is that Tupac's actual father is from Jersey City, from the hill. So like there's a lot of Hudson County history going on here. People don't.
It doesn't get talked about.
It doesn't get talked about because no one's built a platform for it. We have a bunch of individual movies that we have going on here. Beyond the Iceman, beyond the Cinderella Man, Hispanics got their own story in here. Like Joe, who's the dude that's his name? Joe, what's my man name? Is it Joe Rivera or some shit like that? Or Joe, the dude that shows up, he has a podcast. He was from North Bergen. He was actually in the Many Saints of Newark movie.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in there shit. And he's from Hudson County. He's from North Bergen. He talked about the story of how the Italians, he was Cuban.
Oh, you're talking about
blasted.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Joe, I know exactly who you're talking about. He has a podcast. Yeah. I listened to it a couple of times.
So there's like
funny.
we have our own little
Joey
world.
Diaz.
Joey Diaz. So Joey Diaz is that's another people. We have our own world, even from the Hispanic perspective, that has not been spoken about. Why? I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much that we can offer.
Yeah.
There's so much that we can contribute.
And this little cluster of land that we all inherit, you know what I'm saying?
It's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Imagine so many people being your thoughts and ideas and history and experiences are invalidated because you Spanish.
Yeah.
How retarded did that sound? I was with my boy one time mad long ago. We watching it's a undercards, right? 2 Mexican dudes fighting before Mayweather's gonna get on, or whoever was it was a prominent African American fighter that was the main figure was on the card, and they were like, nobody wants to see 2 Mexicans fight.
And it was probably the best fight of the night.
And I'm like, what type of dumb shit is that? So you don't want the people to discriminate against you because of this, but you quick to dismiss someone else because they don't. Yeah. So it's like, I'll get dismissed by this, but there's always the Mexicans we could dismiss. Like, the fuck type of dumb shit is that?
Well, that's back to that separation shit, you know?
Exactly. Separation mentality, yeah.
But as a Puerto Rican mixed with a bunch of different shit that you mix with, you learn to appreciate all people. Like, I remember people, Caribbean Hispanics would be dismissive of people that look indigenous looking, like Mexican types. They got big heads, this, that, and all this bullshit, they wetbacks. But I'm like, my great-grandfather, unlike many Puerto Ricans, he looked straight Taino and didn't look no different than these Mexican motherfuckers.
Right.
So I'm like, wait a second, you dissing my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
And when he would take me on tour, it'd be like, I'll take you on tour because you ain't disconnected from the. I was like, nah, because I know where Tainos come from. They look like these motherfuckers. Like, how what's the people not educated on themselves?
That's what it is.
So they look at the world in a different, or they are educated only on themselves and they don't have that mix. So they can't go back and like look at something and be like, let me check myself before I say something stupid. You know what I mean? And then dismiss people on something else.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's one thing that I think Hispanics can bring to the table through that diversity and education of all different cultures is the inclusiveness and shit like that, and be ambassadors. We can change the whole mindset and shit like that.
I be getting tight sometimes because I be in conversations and then like a brother or sister come in and like try to diss me and be like, arriba, and say like some real slick Spanish shit. And I'd be like, man, I could diss you right the fuck back, but
if you diss them, then you're racist.
Or say mira and all this shit. Even though like there's Puerto Ricans that gotta change their whole house. Like listen, molleto, trepapalo, cocolo, all these other words. We gotta start. But yo, one time I went to Puerto Rico, people were on blackface. I'm like, there's so many black people out here in Puerto Rico. Fuck you wearing blackface for?
Well, even Puerto Ricans are racist against American Ricans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that shit goes on and on. And these are other ideas that actually could be explored in conversation, in series, in shows, because everybody has a voice. Everyone, like the Smithsonian, when they went out there back in the days on recording African American slave narratives and shit, like that would have been gone if someone didn't really give a fuck to be like, yo, these people have value
and this history.
There's something of value of it. And just like us living here, pre 9/11, seeing the Twin Towers, or even post, you know, we have a story that is not being told, and there's value in that. And people are dismissive of it because it ain't from a certain group of people telling it.
It's not from a certain prominent group.
Exactly. Like, it ain't no Italians from the Saint from Newark, or it ain't this, that, and that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like even when I saw the Saints in Newark movie, it was based on two people, black and white, living in Newark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where's the Spanish people?
Probably there was no Spanish. Probably because Hispanics didn't comprise a big segment of that population at that time.
Exactly, yeah.
In Newark? Yes, they did.
Well, I mean,
Newark, yes,
this was around the 60s. Oh, but you're right. Like North Newark was growing. But you're right. That population was because they wanted to make it look like the two populations that are most popular right now.
Well, that's what happens when our people don't get to tell our stories. You know what I'm saying?
From our perspective,
they're always going to be left out. Like Friends was a show that took place in New York. There was no black people in it.
No black or Hispanic people.
Is that a thing?
No black or Hispanic people.
Hollywood is always looking to leave shit out.
And Seinfeld would even have an episode where they got like one dude that was the, you know what I'm saying? Even Martin would still have, you know, it would end up being cliche Spanish stereotypical shit, obviously. But you know, that's the mira perspective, this and that. Just like Hispanics, if they had shows, how would they represent other people that aren't like them? One would think that there would be more sensitivity since Hispanics come from this mixture of all these different groups, and they would be able to represent them at least in a way that would not be deemed like that you didn't do your due diligence and you didn't read and shit. And
but then you also have to think of like, does sensitivity sell? You know what I'm saying?
Well, now in this day and age, everybody want a safe space and shit like that. That's
another
thing.
But
now
I mean,
it's getting crazy.
You know that those little bits of odd race, like Jerry Lewis when he did the Chinese fucking. You know, that's just comedy, and it's gonna sell if he's if he's not over the top with it, it's not gonna be as successful.
What I found is like when you go to Jersey City, where I'm from, Jersey City, right, and the Hispanic population in Jersey City was really embedded with the black population. You know what I'm saying? So they would set the trends, and we would, even though we was already having our own shit, we would be dismissed because of whatever. But I see what happens in the North Hudson side, and it's more of a like kind of, I don't know, a resurgence of a native tongues based like hip hop that's occurring here with Arawak's records and Seven Tribes and everything they doing, and it's more like connected and conscious and shit like that. And it's really different from what happens on the other side of Jersey City and shit, or it happens on the other side of Hudson, which makes it rather kind of unique that Hispanics are actually picking up that torch of like conscious hip hop here.
Well, hip hop is cyclical. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But in Hudson County, I noticed that like that's what's happening now, and
that's big.
You know what I mean? And I think me as a Jersey City artist, that's crazy we even talking, but there is these distinctions from regional differences, which is also should be explored and shit like that, because it shows you what's going on culturally within this county.
And there are different sounds.
There are different sounds.
I can tell a Jersey City DJ right away.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If they're doing the Jersey City shit, they got the chipmunks up. They got the super fucking.
The
they got
fast
5
shit.
beats playing at once. They got sound effects, and you're like, oh, that's
Nelly Nell shit like that.
Yeah.
And yet, like, there's a sophistication in what the hip hop that's being presented from the Union City, West New York, and this side, because they come from a different side. There's not a significant black population here, like there is in Jersey City.
Correct.
Where Hispanics and blacks live in proximity to each other, so it's a different culture is created here. Yeah, it's probably a little bit separate from what occurs there, but from their interpretation of what they believe hip hop to be and shit like that. Whereas I gotta see it from the other side because I live right next to the New House Projects, right? And that's that's definitely black and Puerto Rican. That's no different than how Lower East Side was or how the Bronx is. You know what I mean?
But the thing I don't understand about the separation in that case is like, yo, but we're all united by our situation, whether it be poverty or whatever it is. If we're all united and we're all in this area because we really don't got no fucking choice, we're kind of stuck here. Why not? Let's work together so we can all get out of here.
That's what I see.
Or if not get out of here, let's improve this place.
That I think this is one thing I see when I come, and it's crazy that we can only have a car and go 20 like 7 miles up on Kennedy Boulevard. Does it even stretch that far? I'm assuming it does, but even further than that probably. I'm off when it comes to fucking mileage and shit. But there's a wild difference within living standards of living from one to the next. You go to Greenville and you go to North Hudson, and these are minorities, but living in two distinct different worlds. There's a lot of group economics that's being practiced here. People, there's not things that don't look economically depressed. And one would think like probably these people that come in recent as immigrants don't have that connection to like a Black Wall Street or what occurred and this, that, and the third. And don't know about that because they know of severe situations that occur in their country with like civil war or political struggles through ideology that people are killing each other. I mean, Colombia in itself witnessed a civil war that killed more than 200,000 people. And this is before the rise of
cartels and all that.
Narco terrorism.
Wasn't El Salvador just going through this?
El Salvador too. So you got a lot of people that are coming here and they come to this country like, I don't know what happened here. And I got a language disconnect. And I'm trying to stay under the radar. Only thing I'm trying to do is get money.
Because I'll kill you.
And I'm military trained because I had to be.
I will kill you quickly.
So you come here and you see the difference. And this is crazy because this also should be explored in a fucking movie. The distinctions between one part of town and the other part of the county, and you see it's like night and day. And what makes
even Greenville and downtown, like even sections of Jersey City, like
even sections of Jersey City. That's a great point because you can. Downtown's beautiful.
I mean, and it used to not be like that,
and it wasn't.
It used to not be.
When I lived in downtown, even though I lived in an Italian neighborhood, and mind you, my grandfather looked wild white. I look wild white, and still had problems. Italians would still fuck with us.
Of course,
and I'm
you
like,
because you weren't Italian,
and that was so gangster that I'll be like, yo, what the fuck, we gotta. And I normally gravitated toward black folks, you know what I mean? Even though, I got to get picked on because I'm light-skinned, but I like that because I'm like, yo, you motherfucker, that made me want to fight. It made me learn how to fight. I had no choice, and that made me have a voice in rapping because I would go to Booker T Projects, and I'll be battling people that's wild, 1,000 black dudes and just myself, and I ain't give a fuck. And the beautiful thing about hip-hop, they didn't give a fuck neither.
And if you earn it, they'll respect you.
Exactly.
The not to shit on Italians, but the other races that are not black or Latino will not respect you regardless of what you do. They'll never acknowledge you. You know what I mean?
I mean, Italians, like, I remember this recently, I had a fight, like, mad people fuck people up for them to, because they saw my grandfather use alcohol, they thought he was weak, and I'm like, I ain't my that's another reason why I stopped. I made sure, because I didn't want to be compromised. Like, I started noticing the man in the house ain't strong. And that's the first thing they're gonna go through. You surrounded by enemies. You the first thing you supposed to be is there to protect your family. Fuck out of here. So I was like, I saw it from that point too, a survival instinct. Like they out here picking on people because they can't speak the language, and if you are not strong and compromised by something, that's how they did with the natives. Give them liquor and then they'll be able to take over the whole rest.
Of course, you weaken them.
Yeah, so I looked at shit like that from that point. Again, I had like even Nas was saying in his songs, he had he knew things even then, and I knew kind of certain things that resonated with me till now. Right. You know what I mean? But growing up in that area, in Jersey City, Italian enclave surrounded by blacks and Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? And it would make to them probably like I'll be an enemy on the inside. It was all old Italians because their families, others left, and their kids they sent on to private schools, or they bought houses in the shore that they retired to. Some of them, but some of them just stood there. And so it was like weird because the Hispanic kids.
Well, they still held on to that ideology that this is their land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We were here first.
I'm a Taino ancestor. When you start going to Biblioteca and finding out who the fuck you are, and knowing, and then seeing that there's a Columbus statue down the block, it's just. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like all in your fucking face.
One person's telling you this guy's a fucking murderer that came and destroyed our country, and the other guy's like, no, this guy,
he's a hero.
So like you're
like, damn, but what's the truth?
And that type of dynamic in itself is not being explored on fucking in movie, because that makes an interesting situation.
Hell yeah.
But like when I'm in
but
there,
it's too real though. It's too real, and it'll let a lot of shit out that they don't want out.
A lot of shit, but a lot of this thing has to be addressed if we continue to grow, because our stories are gonna be told regardless.
But think about it. You tell that story, right? And then we clarify everything that we're talking about here. Then we all come together. They don't want that.
Nah, I think that but
it gets to the point that they can't stop it.
I think.
Understand it.
It's an inevitable. More representation, political types, even in hip hop, wherever, it's still gonna be that you can't stop whatever is already in the trajectory of where shit is going.
You can't stop the inevitable.
Avalanche.
It's like
avalanche coming their way. They can't stop it.
The Fraggle Rock, they doing what they do, but the dudes are still working in the background putting shit together. By the end of the day, you end up finding out all the characters of Fraggle Rock died, and the dudes are still there. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I think about it. That's how it's analogous. But what I when I saw like right now within our own place, like we have economic disparity occurring within a 20 block radius, or like within 20 miles right here. Like this is in itself a social experiment that a lot of the country is not experiencing those kind of dynamics happening right in front of your face in real time, and you looking like, oh shit, like wow. Like I came here one time, I was in Gothenburg walking around, and I see a bunch of like what appear to me could have been Guatemalans or whatever, I mean, you know what I'm saying, or whatever Central American types, and they walking up and down the block on Bergen Line, and they have like these baby carriages, and in them baby carriages they selling juices out of them. They making group economics. It's not illegal, kind of illegal, but it's not illegal to a point where it's narcotics and shit. They making their own economy. If you ain't gonna give them a job, they'll make a job. If you look everywhere down, I don't know what these Cubans did, what they started, but it was a baton that was passed from them onto all these diverse Hispanic groups that live in proximity to each other, and they're making a lively situation. I go outside, there's a Colombian restaurant, there's a Mexican restaurant, there's this, that, and the third. They got their own little stores over here. They got the clothes that they sell here. There's a Dominican bodega. There's this, that, and the third. These people are creating an economy for themselves
by representing the people that are around them.
And it's lively,
and catering to,
and it's still culturally vibrant, and it's still, and I'm looking at it, and it's not economically depressed. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't seem to be, and I'm bugging, but it doesn't seem to be that much prevalent crime in your fucking face. You know what I mean? Like there seems to be some cooperation going on within the community, and even them with law enforcement to a certain degree, which is bugged out. Even when I came in,
you know how dope it is for a Salvadorian to come from Salvador, and they told, hey, look, there's a Hispanic area that you could just lay low, you could work. And then they find a Salvadorian restaurant and eat some shit like their mom used to make, or whatever country, Cuba,
and
Puerto
then
Rico.
You know what I'm saying? That Salvadorian dude falls in love with a Dominican girl, and they had which is actually happens here.
Yeah, all the time.
Which is crazy. So like when you see what's occurring right here is America in the process of immigrants coming together, unifying, even though it's under the Hispanic umbrella, but of immigrants of all different racial backgrounds, because that's what Hispanics are, and making a community of itself. That's the American dream. That's the United States. That's a thriving community. And like when I see shit like that, that's why it makes me kind of good when I come in. I'll be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But you know, a lot of people don't understand the struggle on the other side of town and shit like that. And it is that because the fact there's a historical legacy what leads to what it is, and it's about attitude and it's about culture. And people coming from here not knowing that, they like come brand new. Like I don't know about that. I know what's going on. What I got.
I'm worried about my shit.
I gotta eat. I can't worry about it. Yeah, we getting killed by cops and shit. It is what it is. But I gotta stay on the radar because they'll kick me out this fucking country.
One thing that I have learned about the like South Side of Jersey City, like Greenville and like downtown, is like a resurgence right now, right? Like a renaissance. So there's like a lot of art going on right now, and a lot of like business owners. Like I used to go to Greenville just to get red velvet cakes from this girl that put up her own bakery in the middle of the hood in Greenville. And I used to be out there like, yo, I used to be out here like this was nothing but fucking wet. Niggas selling wet out here, and this lady got her business, dope ass cakes and shit, and like you know, the community, if they're not gonna get it from the government or they're not gonna get it from the state representative, they gotta do it on their own.
And that's like what the Harlem Renaissance was about. I mean, there was a lot of people being redlined. They had no place to go. They were put into these enclaves where black people were living, and the rents on that they had to pay were way more than what the average other person of another background had to pay. And so they had to make do with what they do by unifying and being in a community. You know, the advent of crack and cocaine and all that shit, and the fact that manufacturing went abroad and all types of shit that may have led to the decline within those that, and the resurgence that they have now a lot of times is on the backs of, you know, the history and legacy that they left, but hijacked by people that are gentrifying that shit as an image in order to them to sell, to allure
other people to come in.
High income. To get, so, you know what I mean? So like that's what that album that we talk about, Ghost Lineage, is about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, let's get into the album. This conversation has gone
all over
the globe.
My bad.
And we're almost out of time, but I do want to get into the album, Ghost Lineage, your second album, you and your partner Dontique. Dope album. I want to ask, who did the production on the album?
There were groups of people that did that. My man, like Prophecy, based out in who I met on Instagram, actually, based out in Alabama through Michigan. So he provided a couple joints on that track. Three Kings is one of them. Then DJ Static, who we already have a working relationship with, who produced the whole Static files. So he provided some key beats on there. It was another upcoming talent as well. The last track on there, totally forgot his name, but he contributed to the project. So this time it was not as the Static files, which was mainly off of one producer. Okay. We diversified the workload that we had, and you know what I mean.
But you did a good job of making sure that it all sounds like it belongs together.
Yeah, the tone of the album is very reflective. It's a lot of retrospective stuff because of the times that we were going through with the pandemic. Mind you, there were some tracks that were recorded. A good, probably 40% of the album was recorded prior to the pandemic. But we were already in that vein where we were doing music that was more somber mood.
Right.
Because, you know, we were dealing with just being grown-ups, working a 9-to-5 and then trying to create music.
Trying to survive.
That
shit ain't always happy.
We are representatives of the working class of Hudson County and shit like that. So
let me give you props.
Music and shit.
Let me give you props because the music is very organic, and it's not like y'all relied on a gimmick to, you know, like, for example, like, you know, backpack rap, or you didn't rely on, like, you know, all types of, like, deep metaphors. You guys flipped it, and you were you, both of you, because Dontique got one way of doing this thing, and so do you. So I think y'all did a very good job.
Yo, me and Dontique are totally two opposites. I can't believe we continue to have a relationship, a friendship, a working relationship, and a friendship since 1994, because we are night and day. I'm more of a aggressor. I'm more of the mouthpiece. He's more of the silent assassin and organizer. And I'm a bit chaotic sometimes and all over the place and shit.
Though.
But that's how we were able to, our relationship evolved organically from 94 till now. Because when Dontique first came into Jersey City, he came from Brownsville, Brooklyn, and his major influence was boot camp click type. He was signed to Epic Street. He had a record deal at that time, or a demo deal with Epic Street, and Coogee Rap had an album on there. With the 456 album, and you know what I'm saying, they had Groove Theory with the Tell Me. He was on actually the remix of the Groove Theory shit. The Tell Me If You Want Me to. He was on the Summer Sampler. Yeah, Dontique was. He went. His name by then was Mischief, and he dropped a single called Anticipation and shit like that. Did it go many places? One could say I don't. You know, whatever the case is, I met Dontique when he was at that obligation with that label, and my shit with my boy One, who I met around the corner. You know, like I said, y'all murdered in '99, but me and Saya had our own group, and our influences were more like Redman, were more like Grave Diggers, were more like the Cool Keith kind of shit. We was doing shit to be purposely unorthodox because we was experimenting at that time. So Dontique and I met. And we exchanged, like you said, you and your boy in Virginia, you gave him certain records. He gave you the Atlee and shit and like that. And that's how y'all had like a conversation. Dontique and I had the exchange from him being more swag on some landing on the snare shit, and me being, even though I could do that, more orthodox, out of pocket. Right. And we kind of did an exchange. Right. And that's how that BMR sound kind of developed from there, not knowing what we were doing, just organically going in that direction that led to where we are now. And that led to the first album, The Static Files, and then this year you guys released Ghost Lineage. You also released a video. Well, you released a couple of videos. Yeah.
Right.
Several. Yeah, a bunch of videos.
But I really fuck with the Three Kings video.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was recorded in Jersey City?
That was, everything was recorded in Dontique's, a lot of shit was recorded in Jersey City. I've recently got my own equipment because he advised me like, yo, get yourself like Logic Pro and shit, and get a MacBook Pro, and you know the deal. So, but we recorded everything on Logic, and then we got it mixed down.
That was recorded this
That was
year?
recorded at the Puerto Rican festival, yeah, because I wanted it to
Downtown.
be, yeah, because Three Kings is mainly like a Puerto Rican thing,
It's
like
a
Three
traditional
Kings
vibe.
shit. But so like normally everything starts in threes, right? Like the Trinity, Holy Trinity, God, this, that, and the third. The Puerto Rican mixture between black, Indian, and white, and then the Three Kings themselves are three kings that come to visit Jesus and give him gifts at the Magi, kings from the Magi, or they come to the Major, whatever. Fuck. Our main thing is in vein with that Puerto Rican heritage, because Dontique is Puerto Rican himself. Well, he half black, half Puerto Rican, but his Puerto Rican side more blacker than his black side and shit like that. So it's crazy. And he represents, his last name Manuel comes from that surname is very, very known in Puerto Rico. Like there's bongoceros with the last name Manuel. There's a lot of people there's a lot of bombero dancers and shit from the south of Puerto Rico with that last name. So he comes from a music tradition that goes deep in the Puerto Rican roots. Right. So we are always putting those themes in our music. And our boy Mos, who's at the end, he used to rhyme with us. He came up with us. Like he came up under us and was inspired by us rhyming, because me and my boy Saya, before Saya got murdered, that's where we got our skill set at. That's where we developed our skill set. Right there on that corner on 2nd and Brunswick. People were playing manhunt, popping playing wiffle ball or stick ball, or people were, when they popped the pumps and shit like that. That's the type of life that we was living. That was real Jersey shit or New York shit. And we freestyle from that era in the 90s and shit. We developed, and the little kids saw it. They started to pick up on that too, and Mos is one of those. So that was a replacement of Juan, who got murdered. Put Mos in there, Three Kings, and bring it back to that, but still paying homage to our Puerto Rican heritage and shit.
Yeah, super dope video. Before you ask that question, everybody make sure you go to YouTube, stream Three Kings by BMR, Billion Man Rebellion. Also, make sure you go to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever your DSP of choice is. Make sure you download Ghost Lineage. Make sure you download the Static Files. Go ahead, Blood. I'm sorry.
So on that track, Three Kings, you say a line. You say, "Been rockin' rock steady, 97 Amsterdam." What do you mean by that?
Well, like in that song, I've been rocking since back in the days, like when they used to have Rocksteady Park at 97th Street in Amsterdam, in New York, uptown Manhattan.
I knew it.
So you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the year 97. It was like 97. You know what I'm saying? Then I was like, been rocking 97, been rocking Rocksteady 97 Amsterdam before the Rockefeller brand, Rock the Bell, Scribble Jam, West Coast, East Flow, Machiavel, Griselda, East Coast, Machiavel, Griselda Camp, a genius with the bars I forgot what the fuck. Been rocking 97 Amsterdam before the Rockefeller brand, Rock the Bells, Scribble Jam, East Flow, West Coast, Machiavelli, Griselda King. I think I was trying to say, because Tupac was trying to say that the new, no one was talking about Death Row East. Now Nas has something called Death Row East. Yeah. Before that, I already dabbled into something called Death Row East, because nobody was talking about that. No one was knowing that Tupac wanted to come out and start a revolutionary movement of whatever he started on West Coast in Death Row, using New Jersey as the new West Coast. And that's what Death Row East was gonna be. Really, all them Jersey artists that he had on there. Right. Because we was living in the shadow of Manhattan. And so there was something that was kind of like, look, the first people that blew up the World Trade Center, Al Qaeda or whatever was, they was situated in Jersey City, because they're in the shadow of Manhattan. No one's paying attention to what happens in the silhouette. They just paying attention to what happens in the big lights. Of course. And Jersey City and Hudson County represents that. And so I was like, all right, so Pac was already seeing shit before that we was already the underdogs. And that was going to be the Death Row East. And that's where he was going to try to kind of isolate New York in. But I had to, I mentioned those references. A lot of Jersey references, a lot of underdog references within my music. They're very subtle. They're not being mentioned by other artists and shit like that. So, which is why our perspective is a little different. But I was talking from that point, that reference, that little, because there's a lot of references in these songs that point to something else and shit. And that was one of them that mentioned that. And also that I've been rocking before motherfuckers even know there was a Rock the Bells, because we used to have Rocksteady. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So when you said Rocksteady 97 Amsterdam, like, my grandmother lived down the block from there, so I used to play ball at Rocksteady Park. As a matter of fact, I was there the day they spray painted up the wall. It had like the Rocksteady piece that should be floating around. Sometimes I see it.
So you already know you already know know we got so much. See, this is crazy that this album don't make no crazy bread, but it's a significance. There's a historical significance to the community which we represent, and that's why we put our music forward, because it doesn't have to go anywhere, but it's gonna echo throughout the universe for our people, and it's gonna mean something to people like you.
And the people that are supposed to hear it will hear it.
Of course. That's exactly what it's about.
And they'll share it with the people who are supposed to.
It's all quality music that deserves to be heard to a certain degree, because everyone deserves to be heard. But our shit specifically, because we not whack. Like, you could tell we put time into the music we write, and that there is a history behind it.
There's a significance of what you're saying.
And there's knowledge in there. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Teak was talking about what's going on with the indigenous pipes, what's going on through indigenous pipes running through indigenous land. He's talking about climate shift, that's been going on and things of that nature. And then me myself was also saying something in terms of like water flow, and I was basically talking about like people were trying to block us, because there's people that have access to play us on radio right now, and they would not do it because we're not on the Griselda vein. And these are people that we know that used to fuck with us, and they tell me, they be like, I'm not gonna play that shit. And they ask me, they'd be like, well, who else is playing?
You'll know.
Like, you could break records yourself if you want to,
but you won't.
But you won't
because you're trying to follow.
And now because it's me, because I represent
something.
Well,
you're always gonna know your biggest hater.
But
you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna know them. Yeah. Your biggest supporter, stranger. You never met him a day in your life. He lived 5,000 miles away. Your biggest hater, that motherfucker was right next to you a long time.
But I really don't even think it's hate. I just think it's they looking at it like, you know what? What you represent is a past me.
Or what they,
you know what I'm saying? I'm onto something new. And if someone else breaks your record, then I'll kind of, I'll find the value in it. But
then you a hypocrite. Because not you, that person, because you only now playing it because they playing it. Right. I mean, when you had the opportunity to break it, and then they could have played it because you played it.
I think the one thing I noticed about being in the music this long is to appreciate the psychological nature of human beings and how they can change under whatever given situations. And it made me want to be more of a psychologist than anything else.
That's the sad thing about the music business, is that it's 10% music, 90% business.
And it's a lot of emotional situations. I mean, I was watching, shit, I really want to, I mean, you saw that, I don't even want to do no spoilers on this shit, but I do, son, like for the Many Saints of Newark, you know what I'm talking about. And you saw what happened when my man got killed really out of spite. Even though he was already going down that path, but he didn't have to go out that way. it was done all out of spite. Like it was one dude that got mad at him for that one instance.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
And that it was hating.
I told Wifey like, yo, he's the one that's gonna put his lights out, and that's exactly how it happened.
And it was over some real dumb shit, but you look at it, and that's how it ends up being over the dumbest shit. Like you would have thought it would have been all these other people that he was already entangled with, but it had to do with something else that was insignificant. And that's how life works sometimes.
And that's how business works.
Yeah.
Some little bullshit that occurred 10 years ago will stop you from getting played today.
Yo,
you know
I remember
like that.
people that that could be in positions of power. I remember somebody who told me that they were a person that I knew adhered to the 48 rules of power, right? Laws of power. And they said something in it, and this is something that never outdo your master.
Yeah, never outshine you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that when they were saying that, like, oh, so this is the type of, later on, I started finding out and being like, oh, this is the type of psychology where you get your shit.
It's like, I'm not going to put you on because you're going to end up being bigger than me.
Yeah. So I saw, Vincent Van Peebles' father died, right? And he had a movie called He had a movie called
Sweetback's, what the fuck is it called?
Sweetback's Revenge.
Yeah,
but it was
like
the
that.
making of that Vincent Van Peebles played his father.
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles.
And that was even more interesting than the movie.
Than the actual shit that actually happened.
Because it showed all the shit that he had to do to build this up, right?
Yeah.
And in one point, he goes to a potential producer's home that can provide him with the finances needed for this movie to be done. And in doing it in the back, he's so eager to impress this person. He's in his backyard, and the kid, they have a knotted rope to climb up. And he's like, Dad, you know what would be nice if you could climb that rope up for me? He's like, listen, man, I can't do it. Like, he's like, wow, what's going on? So Vincent, the Van Peebles, the guy, he's like, why is it that you can't? He's like, you know, I don't know. I try. I can't do it. You know what I mean? And he's like, damn, Dad, but I really wish you could. The son is there. He's like, yeah. He's like, I could do it. He's trying to impress the Van Peebles, trying to impress the father of that child to get him to. So he does it. And he does, and the kid's like, yeah, Dad, why you can't do that?
And right there, game over.
And
he
didn't
get
producer,
the money because he did it.
Yeah, he outshined the master.
But you see how now another person wouldn't do that. Another person doesn't have that kind of spite. Other human beings don't have that.
Yeah, it all depends on the individual.
But if you're that insecure,
that's all it is. I was just gonna say that.
Then that's you see the people who hold the keys are the most insecure people.
Of course.
And
their number one fear is to lose the key.
And so
it goes back to that movie you was talking about, The Many Saints of Newark, what happened with him and his lady, and you saw it.
Yeah.
And then what happens at the end on the beach, because
all right. We're not doing Many Saints of New York, Newark review. Anyway.
But you get
that's like it goes back to that conversation.
Yeah, because there's always a telling story. You know what I'm saying?
And there's always a hater, bro.
There's always going to be. But necessarily, I don't know, like people be hating or people just outgrow people, but there are people that could be in positions of power to place certain people in there, and they won't do it because of the fact that it's just you doing it, and you may have had something that. I remember one time I was chilling with someone. I'm like, yo, let's work. Let's not even smoke. Let's focus on this. And they got mad at they could get mad at that. Yeah. So there's little slights that I'm like, I didn't know that things would be this emotional. And my emotional intelligence is extremely high. Yeah. But there's certain things that I just can't gauge and shit. And I don't know if it's because I'm looking in a certain direction.
Well, some people,
shit, so
not everyone is predictable. You know what I mean? Some people will react nonsensically or non-logically to something that you would think like that ain't shit.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking this way, and that's how. But the beauty of it that's human nature, and I kind of find an appreciation of it, even though it's at my expense and shit. Yeah. But I kind of find that's a.
And you'd have to study it forever because it's like saying, I want to understand women.
Yeah,
never.
But I can write songs about it, and now like I see shit like that. I was like, oh shit, that's an interesting character that I can actually write a song of, and then bring that into make the song.
Yeah, because now you're trying to get inside of and understand.
When I write songs, there has to be of some sort of psychological nature, and then there has to be that kind of value in it. But yet it has to be different and distinct. When I see how Nas creates certain things, I'm very influenced by how Nas started. My songwriting probably came from Redman and Nas and shit like that, because they were coming up as I was a younger person. And there was psychological situations that were being presented in different ways that human beings in rap were not putting in songs.
Right.
Which gives you a different perspective about individuals and a whole different life, a whole different scheme of things. And when I write for shit, I write to give people different perspectives. And us being who we are, Hispanics, we also have, as human beings, have
a unique perspective.
Absolutely. Perspectives to bring to the table. And that's when I feel like, damn, yo, you would not listen to someone just based on them being them, when they also have value to contribute to the American story.
And that's the other thing too, like, at least in your position, you're also in a position where what you're doing hasn't been done often. There's only one artist that actually broke those barriers, and he's no longer here. Big Pun.
Yeah. That Big Pun was definitely. His son is amazing. I'm surprised his son never really get the respect that he deserves. Because I feel like his son took, and that's just crazy that people gonna look at me like that. But he took Pun shit to a whole nother level, and people are not appreciating it.
That goes back to the business.
Yeah,
the business, and even the era that
he's
we're in.
great at music. He can rap his ass off. Is he marketable?
Yeah.
Will he sell to the people?
And
will somebody in Europe be like, oh, I fuck with this guy? Like,
in Europe, they
and that's
probably
where
do,
he was kind of lacking.
I guess
in all the other aspects.
The right person that they had
and that's true. There could be a right person. Like, you know, imagine if Fat Joe was like, you know what? But you know, I could see where he's more of his comedic character that his father took on, as opposed to like no Don Juan shit. He's like, but this is it's crazy that a person could bring forth offspring and they'll be true to one characteristic of you, but then there's other layers to you,
of course,
that they might not be able to, because it's not in their nature to replicate.
Right.
And he's being true to himself.
Then they have other layers that are not a part of you.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing. That's why I think like
all right,
Chris
sir,
Rivers.
We are going to have to invite you back because
we could talk for hours.
We barely got into the career. I want you to come back so we can actually get into your career and the travels you've been on and the artists that you worked with and been signed on. So we're gonna bring you back for another episode. But again, everybody make sure you go follow the homie at CF201. Make sure you follow his partner at Dontique 3. Make sure you go download the static files. Make sure you download the Ghost lineage. Go watch the videos. Go check out Three Kings.
Go educate yourself.
www.billionmanrebellion.com.
Check the website. Subscribe on YouTube. All that good
and our
stuff.
IG, Billion Man Rebellion, and Billion Man Rebellion 201. We out of Jersey City. This is Billion
Dope
Man
name, by the way.
Join the rebellion, people.
Yes,
Word
sir.
up. And I hope y'all love the album. Next time we'll be able to discuss it in depth.
Are you guys already working on a next project?
We have an album that we're working on, Legend Black. It's a dedication of paying homage to one of my friends' son-in-law who got murdered, who coincidentally named his kid Legend out of me saying Legend to everybody. Cause I'll be like, yo, what's up, Legend? What's up, Legend? And like, yo, what's up with that? I was like, well, shit, I grew up in an alcoholic home and they told me I wasn't shit. So I'm just trying to say that you could be better.
Right.
So he got, I guess, inspired by that and then named his unborn child Legend.
That's beautiful.
Then he got murdered. And his kid is named Legend and the last name is Black. So the kid is named Legend Black. And so the next album we think about calling Legend Black.
Dope.
And at the ultimate level you could reach is like that Ismael Rivera level, you know what I'm saying? Or that Mensa Musa. It's a celebratory song about the black connection of Caribbean history, you know what I'm saying? Like Arturo Schomburg is the father of African American history. The father of Puerto Rican statehood is Carlos Barbosa, black Puerto Rican. The father of Puerto Rican education system is Rafael Cordero, black Puerto Rican. The father of Puerto Rican independence movement, one of them, Ramon Bentanes, a black Puerto Rican. The known historical figure for Puerto Rico's advocate of independence is Pedro Albizu Campos, a black Puerto Rican. So in this kind of weird way, you know what I mean, is dabbling into that idea of more Afro Puerto Rican lineage for this album. You know what I mean? There'll be probably some bomba joints.
And when can we expect this album?
I don't need shit. We just started. I'm just telling you. That's not. I don't even know if that's the album name. That's a code.
That's
name.
A working title.
We might do Static Files 2. We might do something called Static Lineage between a vibe of Static and Files and Ghost Lineage. I mean,
I like that name.
Well, when you guys drop the project, or before then, we're gonna bring you back up. We're gonna talk about your entire career. We're gonna go back over where you've been, who you've worked with. Hopefully Dontique can join us next time.
Yes, we bring the brother Dontique.
He could definitely join. I'm more the talker. Dontique more like you know what I'm saying? Whatever you got is what you got, but he does have a very interesting story, very insightful, and through his lyrics. I wish we could even have dabbled more. I truly apologize for taking over, man. We just went into a whole this historical discourse and shit.
That's okay.
But like
deep episode.
The ghost lineage, a lot of what I'm talking about in rhetoric is, and the rhetoric I speak also Dontique speaks similar. We on the similar subject matter is reflective on many of the songs in that shit. I mean, Ghost Lineage, the name of the album, as you could tell, is two people within coming out of a tunnel. You don't know if we're coming or going, but the silhouette of it, and silhouette represents like the shadow of what was and what will be. You know what I'm saying? Because look, people try to say they did away with natives in this country to a certain degree. What we have is names like Weehawken or
Hoboken,
or Communipore, right? Yeah. But yeah, look at it, the grand scheme of things. Hispanics are largely of native ancestry, and that's coming back again. So it's a 360. So ghost lineage is mainly like the remnants of the past, but still existing in the shadows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And providing the foundation for the future.
Basically. And that's why we wrote a lot of things in there. And then it also was talking about through a pandemic period, a shadowy period. No one knows, no one is for certain. And ghost lineage also is about an uncertain legacy. You know what I mean? About where it goes. I mean, it's deep because in our last album, like I have issue. I can't have kids, and I spoke about that.
Oh damn, my brother!
Our last shit called Reasons, and that's another reason for the topic. Like, if you can't have children, what is your legacy? How do you rethink this shit? How do you have to change your whole mindset?
What are you leaving? Yeah,
your whole life is based on procreating. 200,000 years of human engineering has always led us to that moment. Imagine that stops out of nowhere, and you have to recalibrate shit. And that's also having that kind of introspect, retrospect, reflection time period. So there's so much. Y'all tell you, we could talk about this shit for years and years.
We're gonna talk about it. You'll come back to talk about that. Let's get into 10 shots with VSOP real quick. This brother right here is gonna very quickly ask you 10 questions that you can answer with minimal thought.
Yeah, my bad.
No doubt. 10 shots. Here we go. Number 10. Better MC in your opinion? Big L, Big Pun.
Shit.
Who you got?
Fuck. I like Pun. I'm gonna say Big L.
Big L. Okay. Number 9. Better group in your opinion? Mobb Deep or Gangstar?
Gangstar.
Dope. Number 8. Is Jadakiss top 5 dead or alive?
I put Redman and Nas over Jay though.
Yeah. All right. Dope. So we'll say no.
But yeah, he's in the top 5. You're right. He's up there. Yeah.
All right. Number 7. Where do the better MCs come from? Brooklyn or Queens?
Shit. That's a tough one. I always thought Brooklyn had spitters though, but Queens seem to have people that have a longer. Nah, I'm gonna go with Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? All right, cool. Number 6. Your opinion? Better movie? Strapped, Clockers, or Fresh?
Clockers about Jerry City, but I never saw it. Fresh, I saw, so that was dope.
Fresh?
Yeah.
We'll go with Fresh. All right. If you could work with one producer, who would it be? RZA or Primo?
Primo.
No doubt.
If it ain't one of his okie doke beats and shit.
All right, cool. Number 4, you work with both these artists. Who would you rather work with? Chino XL or Immortal Technique?
Shit, man, that's a hard one, yo. But Chino XL is a god to me.
All right. Yeah. Chino XL. Number 3, who would you rock with more? Rakim or Kool G Rap?
Kool G Rap.
No doubt. Better album in your opinion? Tony Stark's Iron Man or Supreme Clientele?
Yo, I gotta tell you, I never was no like deep Ghostface fan. If you would have said some Nas shit, 100%. It's mad bugged out, but I never really took on to. I mean, only made for Cuban Links. I know that's a Raekwon joint, but Ghostface was obviously featured on it. That's like some BMR shit, but I don't know, man. Like I never really listened to too much Ghostface stuff. I like Ghostface. I think he got a lot of stream of consciousness shit, which is now really what the game is kind of headed toward in the East Coast.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you that I really listen to Ghostface like religiously and shit like that. So I gotta pass on that.
No doubt. And number one, the one that started it all for this podcast, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas?
Oh, Nas.
Oh shit!
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a quick 10 shots with VS to the OP.
Quick 10 shots to the brother Constant Flow, aka what was it? Cracka Face?
Cracka Face.
Child Forsaken, Cracka Face, Constant Flow,
Century Flow.
Thank you, sir.
Colin Ferguson, whatever
Thank you, thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for really dropping a lot of knowledge on the history of Latinos and blacks. And I do want to invite you back.
Absolutely.
So we can actually focus more on your career, but then I'll invite you back for something else that we are working on regarding Latinos and hip hop.
Man, that's dope.
To my co-host, thank you as always. You guys got any sign-offs, VS?
You know what it be, VS to the OP, aka Podney Dangerfield, because I guess all the respect. You know what I'm saying?
Bloodshot.
You know, Gal, you get all the respect. I like that. All right, yo, another dope episode, my brother Constant Flow. Yo, appreciate you coming on the show. Dope show, and I appreciate all the history you dropped on us. Facts. Yo, everybody, go listen to that track, Flight from Moscow. It's not on the Ghost Lineage, but you can catch that on YouTube.
It's on YouTube Static for sure. And thank you for mentioning that. On that song, you have the lyric that I love, and the line goes, "And fuck the world, leave a seat up in that bitch and make a better new me."
Yeah. So that was that also had a dabble in a legacy shit. Everything within these three albums are going to be based on a contemplation of legacy and how it's important. The next album obviously is about Legend Black, that kid that died. I mean, that his kid is born, and it's gonna be a post-pandemic period. Hopefully, or post-pandemic peak period piece, if that makes anything. So now we have to put there have to be little
the errors of the
pandemic, which is a very interesting, but psychologically that'll make for a collection of work. So we're gonna see where we're leading at. To obviously you heard Ghost Lineage is very retrospective, and Static Files is more a little bit, as you could tell, it was no pandemic. It was just straight bars. So there's an evolution. There's an evolution that's occurring within the BMR catalog that y'all witnessing right now and shit.
Absolutely. So keep it up, man. Shout out to BMR. Everybody make sure you go follow them. Again, thank you to Constant Flow for being here. Shout out to Space Studios, the brother Ep82. Shout out to my co-host. Make sure you're following at the real _VSOP on Twitter. Make sure you're following at deadass_worldwide on Instagram. Make sure you're following the podcast page at GAHD_podcast. Also, make sure you're following us on YouTube. We just put up the Collab Fest video.
Oh, nice.
So that's dope. Go check that out. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. We're gonna fade out with the love song of the week because we did run over time a little bit. So brother F will cue that up. It's by Alicia Myers. It's called "I Want to Thank You." This is the Ted Smooth remix. Very dope. So we can fade out with that, and everybody can enjoy the rest of their weekend. And I think that's it. This has been episode 82 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. Do remember, and as always, chin up, chest out, carry yourself with honor, carry yourself with pride, and brother F, hit my music.
One love, my bro.
And if you out there, let me get a soul clap, let me get some dance steps. Shout out to the ladies, shout out to the wives, the girls, the daughters, the brothers, the sisters, the mothers, the daddies, the side pieces, the sneaky links. Shout out to the girls that DM you too much. Shout out to Ted Smooth. Shout out to Club